Alright, Glaceon time. We are here. Where I like Glaceon, but so you might be looking at all the other abilities because every other Pokemon here has an ability that boosts their stab by uh by 50%, or in Sylveon and Umbreon's case, 30%. So that stacks to 2.25 or 1.95 respectively. Glaceon only has Refrigerate as a boosting ability, so that only boosts by 1.2, which stacks to, I believe, 1.8. Let me check my math though. I believe it should be 1.8. Yeah, 1.8, which is still huge, by the way. That's still massive with stab. But nonetheless, you might be thinking, oh, Glaceon kind of gets destroyed in a stick, doesn't it? Because I quote unquote nerfed, we're using that term very loosely, I dropped its base special attack stat. That's because, number one, consistency, because Espeon definitely needed a special attack drop with Psychic Surge. There's no way it could have 130 with Psychic Surge and 110 speed and all this other crap. It would be way better than the other ones. It would have classed them all. So that's not happening. And therefore, it felt weird having Glaceon be the only one with a special attack stat higher than 115. Even though it would have been fine balance-wise, I wouldn't have been overpowered or anything. I also think it's just kind of high. Like, I mean, I know it's the evolutions and all, but I think 115 is a much more reasonable number for them all to have. And this also lets me give Glaceon, it basically lets me make it much faster and much bulkier overall. Despite losing defense, it gained special defense, and then a really important boost it got was speed. So another huge thing you might be thinking, well, Glaceon also sucks because Ice type sucks. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Ice type actually has 4 resistances, and it totally doesn't suck. No, it sucks in real games, of course, but I've given it done it the favor. Bug type has 3 less offenses. English is fucking hard sometimes. Bug type has 3 less offensive resistances, and then Ice type has 3 more resistances. So three things. Ice now resists Dragon, Flying, and Ground. So Dragon being number one because Dragon is fucking nuts now again, despite Fairy type existing and Misty Surge and all that crap. Dragon is goaded because number one, Dragon Fang buff. Dragon Fang is 30% boost. Number two, Dragon type moves are just really fucking strong now, as they should be because they're Dragon. You guys can see here, just the raw power and the effects of them all are excellent. This fucking sucks, dude. What? This guy is not good at making remixes. Why are you? Sorry, I'm really being rude. I'm just not a fan of that type of thing. I'm sorry. For Pokemon, at least, it just doesn't fit. And also, like, it's kind of off key, like the beat. But anyways, hopefully that was kind of mean. I'm sorry. I'm sure making music is not easy. I have no idea how to make music, so. Anyways. Also, some people like that, you know, it's subjective. So if you like that kind of shit, nothing against you. Anyways, just that kind of shit. I'm still being a dick about it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dragon moves are really strong. So resisting those is not like, oh my god, Dragon already sucked offensively. Why are you going to make it worse? No, it's basically because Ice types already beat Dragon. So making Ice types actually reliably check Dragon types is good. That is good. That is a good change. Also, I'm pretty sure literally every single Dragon type in the game now has coverage for Fairy or Ice. So who cares? They have coverage for it anyways. But yeah, it just helps Glaceon switching onto Dragon Stab better. And then Ground and Flying are really, really good resistances to have, especially Ground, because Ground is one of the best level types in the game. So with all the new Levitate Pokemon and all that other shit, as well as Ice and not resisting Ground, Ground is much more balanced as well. And that's also why I felt comfortable like keeping Earthquake and all these other strong Ground type moves. Excuse me. So yeah, that being said, Ice tapping actually has 4 resistances now, which is really useful to have. And then with your 90 base speed, you can actually set up Aurora Veil much faster with Snow Warning. So not only can Glaceon fire off 120 base power blizzards with 100% accuracy in the snow, hail rather, it can also reliably get off Aurora Veil with 90 base speed. It's a pretty quick Aurora Veil user. Obviously, there's better Aurora Veil users. This is why I wouldn't say Glaceon is the worst. It's just kind of outclassed in a lot of cases, but not entirely because it is bulkier than the low Ninetales technically. You know, and also stronger. And also the option to have Refrigerate is very good. Refrigerate is actually great because Refrigerate you can use a base EV, has Swift. So Swift becomes, I'm too lazy to do math in my head. So you have a 66 base power plus 2 priority Ice type stab as opposed to Frost Flurry, which is 45 base power and plus 1 priority. So that's really good to have. And then you have Hyper Voice and Serenade as 70 base power, and it makes the opponent drowsy. So it basically is like yawn, and 70 base power becomes 84. Yeah, 84, right? 14, yeah, 84. 84 base power ice type move that makes them drowsy. That's really useful. Snore is niche, but if you're asleep, it always flinches. So you can use that with rest and then use refrigerate snore twice and you have to wake up. Or you can just go into the battle pre-slept and then cross your fingers and hope you don't wake up, but that is not skillful. So I would just use rest personally, but obviously to each their own. And that's really good because if you're faster than them, you can just run Scarf Snore if you go in pre-slept and you can just fucking flinch something with refrigerate 72 base power snore twice in a row, and then you get wake up after that. You have really good coverage now. So I gave them a lot of interesting coverage moves. So they have Fairy, Ghost, Psychic, Fighting, Ground, Steel, and Bug, and Water, and Rock. So it has tons of coverage. It has stuff to hit every single type that almost probably every type combination that resists ice that I can think of. Bar maybe a couple of random specific cases with like specific abilities and shit. But for the most part, it can super effectively hit everything that resists ice, which is really useful. And ice alone is a great coverage. Aurora Beam is useful. 70 base power always drops an offensive stat. That's great to have. Sorry, always drops attack. I don't know why I said that way. I'm getting tired. It always drops attack, so that's useful. Freeze Dry, 85 base power, super effective against water types, so you can use that on water grounds. Glaceon actually doesn't get stuff to cover water types. A lot of other, I mean, it has like neutral hits, but it doesn't have anything super effective technically besides nature power in like electric terrain or natural gift with Wakan Berry or what's the grass berry called? I know these. I just on the spot I can't think of them. I know them all by heart. I just am. Rindo Berry. Yeah, sorry, I have to think about that for a second. Yeah, Rindo Berry and Wakan Berry will give you 110 base power to hit water types as well. But Freeze Dry is obviously only 5 base power weaker than Ice Beam. Then you got Frost Breath, which is 65 base power, but it always crits. So that's 98 base power effectively. And that's excellent. And that actually worked really nicely in conjunction with Diamond Storm, which is non-stab. Also, if you're wondering why they have Power Gem and Diamond Storm, it's because the dex talks about like making a Diamond Dust Flurry, Diamond Dust that glitters like gems. So yeah, it makes total sense to have Power Gem and Diamond Storm. Diamond Storm is 150 base power. It's basically like another version of like Zap Cannon and Psycho Boost and all these other moves that I made. Hyper Beam, Draco Meteor, all those moves. It is an equivalent to those, so it's rock type. So what that will do is it'll give you -2 special attack, 150 base power rock type coverage, which is fucking crazy strong. And you can actually use that twice in a row. Two of these in a row, I believe, are 150 to 25. Yeah, so 2 Diamond Storms in a row are stronger than 2 Power Gems in a row, technically, because Diamond Storm is 75 base power on the second hit, and that is 225 base power overall. Meanwhile, 2 Power Gems in a row are 180. So that's your answer for that. It takes 3 uses for Power Gem to outdamage Diamond Storm. So I would say overall it's an upgrade, although Power Gem is obviously more spammable, and Power Gem has more PP, and Power Gem has a 25% chance to boost your special attacks that like Dazzling Gleam does and Signal Beam does. So that's really useful to have as well. Logically, Earth Power, I mean, that's like a Dre thing anyways, and oh my god, the Messiah of ROM hacks, he can, you know, if he did it, then I have no issues doing it, although some of those changes are kind of poopy, or just not enough, but not enough changes for some mods. But that's a lot of people like that. Some people don't want to play a, believe it or not, some people don't want to play a ROM hack where literally everything they've memorized for 20 years is thrown upside down on its fucking head. Some people, that's not appealing to some people, believe it or not. I don't know, who would have thought that, right? No, there's no shame in people who like more simple, straightforward stuff. I have nothing against that. I just personally disagree with you, but that's not, you know, it's not an objective thing, it's subjective. So yeah, Baton Pass Barrier is good. You can Baton Pass Swords Dance and Calm Mind and all this other great setup you have. You have Recover for reliable recovery. Refrigerate is good for offense because, again, Serenade is powerful, Snore is powerful, Swift is powerful. Hyper Voice and Hyper Beam are insane. Hyper Voice is 114 base power, so that's almost as strong as Blizzard, and it's stronger than Glaciate, and it's much earlier. So that's an advantage. And then Hyper Beam is 192 base power, Ice type move with Refrigerate active. And if you use that twice in a row, it's 144 base power average. I've done this math a billion times, so I have it memorized. So if you use 2 Refrigerate Hyper Beams in a row, you have an average of, over the 2 turns, you have 144 base power, because the second hit is halved because of the special attack drop. But it's really good. Really, really powerful stuff. refrigerate hyper beam. And then you have other useful stuff like Freezer Burn is 2-turn move. Mirror Coat's good for like totems and shit. Glaceate drops speed by 2 after you use it, and it's only 10% inaccurate, and it's 100 base power, which is strong. That's really useful. Parting Shot's good for utility. I've kept its good bulk, so you can run like bulky Glaceon sets still. So you can run Scarf, you can run Assault Vest, you can run whatever you want to run. It's very versatile. It has actual resist. It has 4 resistances now as a pure ice type, which is good. It evolves at night instead of daytime like all the others besides Umbreon, because like day and night I feel like kind of fits with Leafeon and Glaceon, because like, oh, this is the rock and it's the sun, and this is like icy. It's like icy and moon, whatever. I just felt like having them all be daytime besides Umbreon was kind of lame. So anyways, doesn't really matter. And if you're wondering why I had to do daytime and nighttime, it's because there was only options for that in the code. Blah 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 blah. Watch the EV one. I don't want to explain it again. Just in like the first 5 minutes of the EV video, I talk about that. If that's if you're just tuning in now, I feel bad. I had to strike a balance between repeating myself and being like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Being like considerate of people who are just tuning in, you know. So I got to do a little bit of both. But anyway, yeah, really good shit, really good coverage. I already said that. Great refrigerate stuff. Snow Warning is a lot more straightforward. Literally, all it's good for is chip damage, Aurora Veil, and Blizzard. But Aurora Veil is good enough to the point where that's all you need. You can Snow Warning, you can hail and then Parting Shot the fuck out, and you're chilling, man. You're big chilling. Parting Shot right up out of there. After you get that Veil up with the Light Clay, you got 7 whole ass turns of dual screens. All of attacks that are hitting you are doing half damage. That is excellent. Even without a hail team, you don't even need other hail abusers, and you can fucking just click setup moves much easier with the Veil up. So that is always useful. So that's another reason I wouldn't describe Glaceon as the worst, quote unquote. I guess on paper it is of all of them, but that's just because it's the least powerful. That doesn't mean worst. It has tons of defensive utility and tons of other great shit to do, and it's still really strong. The main reason I would describe it as the quote unquote worst is because there's other pure ice types like Vanillux who compete a lot with it. Because Vanillux and one more. Hold on, let me actually check. Hold on, I will explain this now. Pure ice, come on. Yeah, Regice. So Regice will be Refrigerate, and Vanillux will be Snow Warning. So kind of a similar situation with Jolteon and Raichu and Pikachu, where like, oh, one of them is Galvanize, one of them is E-Surge, but the evolution has both abilities, so it's still technically not overlapping because it can use both. So it's both in one Pokemon, so that's useful. That's already inherently useful. Also, it's much faster than Regice, although it's not nearly as bulky or strong as Regice will be. And then it's also not as strong as Vanillux will be, probably, or it's about just as strong as Vanillux will be. And Vanillux might even be faster, but and even bulkier, although not specially. Definitely want up more special defense, or physical defense, probably, maybe equal physical defense. But F will be much lower on Vanillux though, so that's one thing. And then also, Vanillux only has Snow Warning, not both. So also a much different move pool. No Diamonds, there are no Power Gem, none of that. No Earth Power. No, maybe no Aura Sphere, probably no Psychic, probably no Dazzling Gleam, so the like I talked about with Jolteon and Raichu, the advantages of Glaceon is it's slower, but it's bulkier and has much different moves and has both Snow Warning and Refrigerate in one mon. The advantages of Regice I don't need to explain, it's much bulkier and stronger. And the advantages of, although it's slower, so that's a big deal, it's much slower. And then the advantages of Vanillux will be slightly faster, maybe probably slightly stronger. Faster Veil is good, but much less coverage. So yeah, you guys get the idea. I think we're chilling with this one. Not too much else to talk about. Like I said, Haze is good for totems, and also just stopping stat boosts in general. But Tom Pass I already talked about. Mirror Coat. Ugh, this guy is just Andreas Zoll. I no offense to you, but I do not like their music. Gosh. It's just like lazy. It feels like they just put like a drum loop over it, that's all I can hear. It doesn't even sync up. Ugh. Sorry. If you can't tell, I really want to get to the other Pokemon. That's because we have so many cool fucking mons coming up. Dude, we got oh crap. I gotta type in we got fucking Porygon, which is gonna be awesome. Stay tuned for that one. We got the fossils, we got Snorlax, which I don't really care about, but still cool and strong and also not boring, like the evolutions at least. And then you got the birds, which are kind of boring. But yeah, I don't know. We're close to being done. And I'm excited for the fossils and I'm excited for Porygon. So I'm just getting really restless. It's been like 2 days straight of just doing the evolutions over and over again. And it's like, ugh, But I think that's where I should end this one off. Yeah, Glaceon's super great.